Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the book freakout tag or just mid-year book tag. I don't know, I've seen a couple different variations. Honestly, I was not even going to do this because I tend to feel like if a million people are doing the same video, then does anyone even care to watch another one? I also feel a very deep innate need to be different, and this isn't different at all, so I really wasn't gonna do this. But quite a few people have tagged me, and you know, I was just like, this is kind of a really fun way to recap the past 6 months. There are some incredible books that I've read, some disappointments, goals I would like to see if I'm on track for, so I'm just gonna go for it. I hope that you enjoy and figure out a book that you would like to read or that you want to avoid. Alright, let's just get right into it. Question number 1, what is the best book that you've read so far in 2024? Technically I had 2 answers for this, but one of the options fit another prompt, so we're just gonna go, drumroll please. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Nobody's surprised. Nobody. This book. It literally just deserves all of the hype and all of the love that it has gotten. Easy 5 stars. Abby's best book yet. I will hear no differently. If you haven't read this, read it. If you read it and didn't like it, I'm so sorry for you. This book was and will probably forever be a top tier book for me. The love story here, the chemistry, I think it's just, quite frankly, an incredible book that most everyone is going to love. The pool float scene, worth the whole read. And question number 2 is, what is the best sequel that you've read this year? This book would have been the other one in my best book of the year, but it kind of fits this prompt as well, so just know it is right up there with Just for the Summer, and that is Into the Dark, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. If you haven't read the rest of the series, then you wouldn't even bother reading this, but this concluded Magnolia and BJ's story, and it was an absolutely epic and poetic and beautiful and gut-wrenching, but I couldn't have been happier with this ending. It just was such a thoroughly well-written story. Jessa is a brilliant author. I cannot wait for more of her books. And so this one, easily a top of the year, but the best sequel is where I will place this one. Question number 3, what is a new release that you want to read but just haven't read yet? For me, that is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. Honestly, I wasn't even planning to read this book. I loved Every Summer After, and then I didn't really like Meet Me at the Lake, and then the synopsis on this one didn't really draw me in, but the reviews, guys, I'm hearing that this is just like a beautiful and epic love story. If I see one person cry while reading a book, I'm pretty much sold, because that means that it's going to give me all the feelings, and I love all of the feelings. So this has now become a new release that I really do want to read, and I do not know how I'm going to fit it onto my summer TBR, but we'll make it work. Question number 4, your most anticipated release of the next half of the year. 2 books that I am most excited about. I don't even remember when they're being released, so I will insert it here, but Promise Me Not by Megan Brandy. I don't know necessarily that it's like a sequel or just kind of a follow-up in the same world, but this will be a follow-up, I guess, of Say You Swear, which I loved that book. It was such a unique love story, so I am naturally thrilled and so excited to read this one. And then Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I just read Better Than the Movies and was so pleasantly surprised. I honestly didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, because it's classified as like a YA romance, and that's not always my cup of tea, but I loved it, and now I am very excited for this new one. Alright, and next question, what was your biggest surprise of the year so far? I had a few, but probably my biggest surprise is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I had purchased this book. I sold the book because I was that sure that I would not like this story. And then my friend Keisha over at A Book Like You basically begged, pleaded, and convinced me to read it. So I got the book again from the library and I ended up shockingly loving it. It was such a unique, good story, and then she so kindly bought me a copy. I can't wait to continue in this series, and basically it just goes to show that sometimes we do not actually know our reading tastes. Next question, I think this is question number 6. What was the biggest disappointment of the year? This one's pretty easy, and please don't come for me. We all have different reading tastes. That is the joy of being a reader. Everyone has different genres that they love and genres they avoid, so again, give me some grace, because what I'm about to say is hard, because I might be one of the only people on the planet who does not like this author. But my biggest disappointment of the year, after trying I think 3 of her books, is Frida McFadden. The ones I finished were mediocre to me, and then the other one I completely DNF'd because of content. I know you all pretty much love her, and she is like everyone's go-to thriller author, but for me it just isn't it, and that is okay. Question number 7, hopefully I'm right in my numbers. Favorite new author. It can be a new author, like a debut author, or just new to you. This was a little difficult for me to choose just one. This is an author I have read in the past and I did enjoy her stuff, but she became a favorite to me, like a standout author to me this year, and that is Courtney Walsh. There was just some magic in these two that made her officially a favorite and an auto-buy author, and basically if you haven't read these 2 books yet, you should. She writes closed door in her romance, but they don't lack that swoon-worthy plot and characters. I really just feel like her books have magic in them. Next question is, who's your new fictional crush? I am a very happily married woman, and I struggle a little bit with the idea of fictional crushes. No judgment. I think it's so cute and so funny when people like swoon over these men. I mean, we all do it, but I don't like to actually like say, oh, that's my book boyfriend. It's just personal preference. But I will say there is a new character that I found this year that if I had to choose a new fictional crush, he would be my dude. And this might surprise you because he's not actually like some sweet guy from a romance. It is Luther from Spark of the Everflame. There's just something about him. He was just such a captivating male character. I looked forward to every moment that he was in. In fact, he is what made this first book good for me. His one-liners were so swoon-worthy, and there was just something I can't quite put my finger on. So if I have to choose, he's my dude. Next question is a book that made you cry. This was easy. This book made me sob my eyeballs out. Taming Seven by Chloe Walsh. I love this Boys of Tommen series. This was Gibbsie's story and Claire, and a book that I looked forward to with all of my heart, and then it so brutally crushed my heart. It was just the topic, the theme in this book, the stuff that these characters went through. One in particular, it just hit home really, really hard for me. Granted, all of these books are heavy, hard-hitting topics. That is why I love them, but that might be why other people do not love them. Hands down, this book, and I'm pretty sure every book in this series, has been the books that make me cry harder than any books I've ever read. On a happier note though, the next question is book that made you happy. And I have 2 for this. I really couldn't pick between. One of them I already mentioned before is Better Than the Movies. This book was just so cute. They're high schoolers, and normally I feel like high schoolers are written really immature and annoying, but these 2 were adorable, and Wes was so perfectly written. I just remember feeling giddy through this entire book. I really think it just comes down to like that nostalgic feeling that this one gave me. And then the other one that just made me happy is Girl Abroad. I think that for this one, it was the setting. It just made me feel like I was on a vacation and living abroad. There wasn't anything like too difficult of a topic in this one. There is a love triangle, but that makes me happy. I really enjoy love triangles. So overall, I just had such an enjoyable experience reading this one. Next question is, what is the most beautiful book that you have gotten this year? This one was gifted to me by a very sweet friend in this community, and that was Pride and Prejudice. This edition, like, are you kidding me? It might actually be like the prettiest book I own. I don't even have it here on my bookshelves. I have it on display in my living room. That is how beautiful this book is. All right, next is the top books that you need to read by the end of the year. One book that is a newer release that I don't even know why I am so eager to read, because it's not really like a typical read for me, but maybe it's the reviews, the cover, I don't know. But the reappearance of Rachel Price is so stinking high on my TBR, and I did unwrap it for this video. If you watch my blind TBR videos, this one has been wrapped this whole time, and every single time I'm just like hoping with all of my heart that this book in particular gets unwrapped, and it just hasn't yet. So I may just end up adding it to my TBR on my own, because it is one that I am very eager to get to. And then another two books that are like top of my TBR that I really want to read by the end of the year is Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I have had these on my radar. First of all, these covers are so pretty, but then my friend Hannah over at the Teacher's TBR has really hyped these up for me. They went from like, okay, I want to have these on my TBR to like, can I read it tomorrow? That is how much she has convinced me that I need to read these, and just said that these love stories have so much depth to them, which is speaking my language. So these are two that if I haven't read them by the end of the year, someone come like hunt me down, okay, and shove it in my hands and lock me in a room and make me read it. Can I like have someone just do that for me anyways? That sounds amazing. Okay, next question. A book that I want to reread this year. I read this series years ago. Loved it. Almost every one of these books was 5 stars, and I have been now rereading them with my husband. We just finished Throne of Glass, so we will continue rereading these books. There's no way that we're going to finish this entire series by the end of the year. It's fine though. We'll get through as much as we can of this year. Hold on, battery is flashing at me. I'll be right back. Okay, next question. Book that you keep putting off. I have 3. One of them's from like this year, but 2 are from years. And you're gonna see why I've been putting these off. Let me lift my weights here. Ugh. This is my eternally putting off little TBR here. We have Dark Age, we have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and we have Glow of the Everflame. I am about halfway through Glow of the Everflame, but if you can't tell, these books are huge. Each of them are just absolutely massive. Like, my hands hurt right now holding these up. I really want to read all of these. Obviously, I think I'm gonna read Glow of the Everflame first because I already have started it. It's just crazy how much I really do want to read these and continue these series, but just because of the size of these books, it's like the most intimidating feeling. So we will see if and when I ever finally get through these books. All right, we are almost done. The next question is a book that you enjoyed but has mixed reviews. This one is very easy for me. That is None of This Is True. I have said it a million times. I don't read thrillers very often, but this one so surprised me. I did do the audiobook of it, and I think that that added a lot to the like whole vibe of the story. So maybe some of the bad reviews, they physically read it, and the audio was just such an epic production. It was probably like the best audiobook I've ever listened to, and that is maybe why I was so pleasantly surprised. Plus the story just really had me gripped and interested the whole time, and I just really enjoyed this one, but I know that it has pretty mixed reviews. Okay, next question is series that you want to finish by the end of the year. This was really hard for me to choose just one because I'm gonna show you real quick. I have in my reading journal this like spreadsheet. These are all of the romance series and then all of the fantasy series. Most of them I have already started and I'm like currently in the series, and then there's a few that like I haven't even started yet. So this question was difficult because there's a lot of series I want to read or finish and get into. But if I have to choose just one that I'm currently reading and I feel pretty gripped by, and I think it's highly likely that I will finish it by the end of the year, that would be the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I have now read Flawless and Heartless. I'm really enjoying these stories. I do have to pace myself on them because they are way more smutty than I prefer. And so like I read one and then I need a little bit of a break for a bit, but I'm enjoying them enough that I really want to continue the series. And if there's any that I would probably finish by the end of the year, it would be the Chestnut Springs series. All right, next question is your 5-star predictions for the second half of the year. I have learned about myself that I am pretty bad about predicting my 5 stars. I can usually guess right that like I'm gonna like a book, but when I predict one 5 stars, I'm more often than not way off base. Maybe it's that we like hype it up in our minds and put too much pressure, so I try not to do that to myself. But if I had to choose, there are 2 books, one that's older and one that's new, that I am hoping and predicting will be 5 stars. The new one is Promise Me Not by Megan Brandy, that I've already mentioned is coming out at the end of the year. It's a bit of a stretch, like I'm reaching for that one, but there's really no other one that's like new and coming out that I have an expectation of it being 5 stars. As far as like a older book that I'm going to be reading that I have such high hopes and kind of a 5-star prediction is Lovely War. This kind of surprises me that I'm predicting this, but the amount of people at this point that I have seen loving and crying over this book, I just kind of feel like it may surprise me and be a 5-star read. And thank you so much to my friend Hannah at the Teachers TBR for gifting me this one. Okay, only 2 questions left, and these are a little bit different. So one is, do I think that I will finish my reading goal by the end of the year? And 100% yes. I am already at 52 books out of my goal of 75. So if I don't hit this goal, then there's something severely wrong with me and like I don't even know what happened. The last question is, do you have any new goals for the rest of the year? I think for me it is pretty basic. Like I just want to continue to be consistent here because I did take a year off of this space that I really did need, but in just like 2 more months I'll have hit my first full working year on YouTube. Like if you combine what I did before with what I'm doing now, I'll have hit a year's worth of content creating. And so I want to continue to stay consistent and build community here because I really, really enjoy this space and enjoy making videos. In creating, my goal is always to just like stay true to myself and to create what brings me joy and remain true to you guys, like create what I notice you enjoy. So hopefully I can continue to do that. And then also I have a massive bookshelf here full of unread books, and I've decided that for the second half of the year I want to do like a crush the TBR shelf type of challenge. I will discuss that more in some upcoming videos and TBR videos, but that is going to be a huge goal. I really want to downsize my unread books and remove them if I'm not going to read them and that type of a thing. So that is a very big goal of mine for the rest of the year. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you are a booktuber and you have not done this yet, consider yourself tagged. And if you liked this video and you have not hit subscribe yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around. I love you guys and appreciate you for being here, for watching this if you watched all the way to the end. I hope that your books are amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.